winning the gold medal is just the most undescribable thing in the whole world. I don't know how anybody can put into words how they feel when somebody puts that gold medal around their neck, and you don't know whether to cry or to jump up and down because you got all those emotions just coming at you at the same time. It's the greatest feeling in the world. To win a gold medal in your own country, it's got to be great. To have the fans just cheering for you in America, in your own country. This team has a chance to really take it to another level, and we're in for a treat for the next 2 weeks.
A look at the Georgia Dome, downtown Atlanta, the primary site for men's basketball, and better than 36,000 turning out for opening night for the Dream Team. The United States going against Argentina. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Matt Gukas, and we're pleased to be joined by Irvin Magic Johnson, a member of the original Dream Team in Barcelona back in 1992. Now, Magic, obviously, the Dream Team will be surging through the competition here at the 96 Olympics. But is there a sense of anxiety before that very first game?
Well, Marv, they're excited, they're antsy, they're ready to go. They're tired of playing against one another. They've been practicing against each other and with each other for 3 weeks. I know when my first Olympics back in 1992, I was so excited that normally I take naps before the games. I couldn't sleep. I was too excited. I was too nervous. I wanted to get the game started before I can get that gold medal. So they're ready to play right now. But look for them to maybe miss some shots that they would normally make.
I have a feeling they'll straighten that out, though, in quick order.
I think so.
All right, and for Argentina, it's their first Olympics since back in 1952. But for Argentine basketball, it has certainly been successful in recent years. They've come a long way.
But guess what? Argentina is in big trouble in the middle. Now, their best inside player is Marcelo Nicola, a former draft choice of the Houston Rockets in 1993. He wants to show some NBA scouts that he can play in the league. And every team has a three-point specialist. Theirs is Juan Esfil. Hasn't missed a game in 12 seasons for his Argentine club team and led them in scoring at 32 a game. But after 44 years of being absent from the Olympics, Argentina is in for a rude awakening.
And Argentina's goal here in Atlanta is to reach the quarterfinals. At the very least, they would like to be able to beat China and Angola. Let's check out the starting lineups for the United States. Lenny Wilkins going with a backcourt of John Stockton and Reggie Miller. He'll start. David Robinson at center. Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley are up front. And looking at the Argentina starting five, the key man is Marcelo Milancia, the point guard, the captain and leader of the team, and generally regarded as the best player in Argentina. Matt made mention of Juan Esfil, 28-year-old, 6'4", backcourt man who averaged 21 a game at the Tournament of Americas and can do it from three-point range. Well, the newest member of the Los Angeles Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal, who signed the huge contract the other day. Now, Magic, when you're feeding him the ball next January or February, does he like it up high? Does he like it on the bounce? Well, where do things stand there with you?
Most big men like it up high.
I see.
They don't want it down low because that brings it down with the guard. So, yeah, I'm going to feed it up high to him. Make him go get it.
Wait a moment. Are we talking January, February, or?
Hopefully January. That's the only time I can come back is January.
You know, a lot of people are already ready to hand the trophy over to the Los Angeles Lakers. Magic, you can be a little bit objective now till January, a little bit. What do the Lakers still need? I think they need some shooting.
Oh, no question about it. You know, you have to get a shooter in there. You have to surround him with some guys who can knock it down when they double team him. And also remember that Seattle's not going to go away quietly. Remember that Houston is not going to go anywhere. I mean, San Antonio. So it's some still quality, great teams in the West. So don't concede anything to the Lakers.
And Shaquille moving a seat away from his former teammate, Penny Hardaway.
Yes, he's going to have a heavy load on his shoulder this year. But Penny adjusted well when Shaquille was out, and I'm sure he will again.
All right, the officials, Gennaro Colucci of Italy, and from Greece, Stelios Poukoulidis. And that is Colucci throwing the ball up for the opening tip, and it's controlled by Argentina. Nicola not able to hit on that first shot attempt. Here's Pippen on a 2-on-1 with Stockton. And Pippen with the save, but stepped out of bounds.
Right away, we saw 4 blue shirts from Argentina go right to the offensive board. That could be death against the USA with their ability to rebound the basketball and get out and run.
Sella, and this is the center, Wolkowski. Espiel picked up by Pippen. And here's the long shot taken by Espiel. He likes to gun from downtown. Reggie Miller trying to get it to David Robinson. A shaky start here by the United States. Espiel giving Argentina a 2-0 lead.
Remember what we were talking about at the top of the show? I was saying that they were probably nervous and excited, so normally some plays they would make, they would miss. So right now, look for that.
Stockton, and he's tied the game at 2. Under normal conditions, the Argentines will shoot the ball, but they, in this situation, will control it a bit, looking to make the offense last at least 20 to 25 seconds to find the open shot.
Well, there's Coach Lenny Wilkens, who has really preached to his team how important it is to get out and play defense early and create some tempo that way, get those easy baskets, which makes those half-court shots a little bit easier. But Guillermo Vecchio, the coach of Argentina, wants them to control the tempo, rely a lot on three-point shooting, but he knows it's going to be very difficult against the USA.
Nice fake. Wolkowski, the 6'9.5" center, has given Argentina a 4-2 lead. A minute and 40 gone by. Barkley posting up, throwing the double team. Nice head fake, but a 3-second violation is called.
Do you think there's anything to the fact that Lenny Wilkens has started 4 players who were on Dream Team 1, with Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, David Robinson, Reggie Miller being the lone Dream Team 2 player?
And a ragged start for the United States with 3 turnovers here in the opening minutes. And the foul is called, a hold on Miller.
Well, you have to understand something. They came out here, expecting to win by 40, 50, so they're probably not going to get off right away to the start that they want, but eventually everything's going to happen for them. But, Argentina is really, hey, they have nothing to lose, so they're going to play well early. But look for the Dream Team to get their stuff together.
And Espiel drew the foul.
But I think that you can also look for Charles Barkley is the one player that no team in the world can match up against. And right now the Dream Team is going to him, trying to create shots and double teams.
Reggie Miller called for the foul, a second, and an early substitution. Mitch Richmond of the Sacramento Kings replacing Reggie Miller. Argentina with a 4-2 lead, and a travel is called on Espiel.
Well, they really look to feature Juan Espiel in their offense. He runs that baseline. They set a lot of screens for him to come off, and he always seems to have that trigger ready. He can get that shot up very, very quickly. An excellent three-point shooter.
So Richmond and Stockton in the backcourt with Pippen, Barkley, and Robinson. And I don't know if that's what Scottie Pippen had in mind, but he'll take that shot off glass to tie the game at 4.
Actually, he likes to use the glass, but a little bit further down, more of a 45-degree angle, but certainly not on that shot.
2.5 gone by. And a traveling violation is called on Diego Rosella.
I played in international ball a lot, so the fans can look for a lot of traveling to be called, because normally you get to move that feet in the NBA and in America, but here you cannot do that.
And perhaps some of the NBA players will not receive the same respect that they might in NBA competition.
Exactly, and look for the referees too. That's why Reggie is out, because in international ball, if you touch a man with your hand, that's a foul. I got your help. Normally in the NBA, it's not.
Game is tied at 4, and there's a foul a hand check called on John Stockton.
Exactly what you were talking about, Magic. And the NBA players, has taken them a good 2 years now to get used to getting that bent elbow out there. You see John Stockton showing the referee what he did. I don't think the referee cares that he had the elbow bent. It's still a foul in international play.
Eliminaciones being guarded by Stockton. Spiel going baseline against Richmond, who had him well covered. Volkovisky. Volkovisky with the shot. And Barkley with the box out. Stockton running the floor. Stockton penetrates. And was rejected and fouled.
Let me say, this is a great game that Argentina is playing in terms of they've taken the fans right out of it.
There's John Stockton spotting that opening, a little hesitation move. And I think that one of the things that makes John Stockton so good is those big hands.
Foul was called on Nicola. We'll be back in a moment. Our aerial photography being provided by Goodyear Infinitred. As you look at the Georgia Dome from high above here in Atlanta, Argentina with a 12-10 lead on the United States. A three-pointer by Nicola, a couple of buckets by Espiel. David Robinson with 2 field goals. International play continuing as we broke for commercial. And this is taking on the early look of what the United States saw against the group of college all-stars, the U.S. select team, that very first exhibition game in which the United States was down by 17 at halftime. Not quite the story here today, but still a surprise.
Well, that was the best thing that could have happened for Coach Lenny Wilkens and the rest of his staff, and actually the players as well, because then they realized that they could just not come out, cool it, wait for the other team to just fade away. They had to initiate with defense and pressure defense, and that's what a guy like Gary Payton has given them, and what an addition he has been to this team. The last player picked in replacing Glenn Robinson after Glenn Robinson was unable to play to that heel injury. A lot of people thought it was going to be Sean Kemp, but it turned out Gary Payton was a good choice, and once he gets in the game, he can change the flow. But we got Penny Hardaway coming in now.
Well, what happens is that Gary picks up people full court, and right here you can see where the defense by Argentina and the layup here. But what has happened is Argentina is slowing the game down. They've taken the crowd out. That's why it's been a great game so far for them, because they haven't let the United States get into their running game, and they've taken the crowd right out of the game.
Argentina is at 5 of 7 from the field. The United States 4 of 5, but they've turned it over 5 times. Richmond lost it. Another turnover by the U.S. make it 6. Now Daniel Fedobello handling at the point guard, wearing number 5. This is Marcelo Nicola with the ball, bringing David Robinson out. 5.5 gone by, and Espiel was wide open, but Hardaway over to get a piece of it. Here's Richmond giving it up for Barkley. Argentina by 1.
That was their first fast break. Now here come the crowd. Now they should pick their defense up.
And Barkley is right in the chest of Osella. Last touch by the United States.
Well, I think after last week in Indianapolis against Greece, the USA was ready to play. They had to practice a few days in Orlando. They lost their timing, lost their rhythm, but this is how they can get it back. Force tough shots, get some steals, deflection, get out and run and get easy baskets, and everything falls into place.
Bello played by Hardaway. Marv Albert with Matt Gukas, Magic Johnson. It's the opener for the green team, and that is a shot clock violation. The basket won't count. It was flipped up from near center court by Marcelo Nicola, and it went in.
Well, Coach Vecchio wants them to control the tempo, use a lot of clock, but not quite that much.
No, not that much.
Guillermo Vecchio, only 33 years old, the head coach of the men's national team since back in '93. Another turnover, sloppy play, and Pickett is called for the foul. Got the ball and a piece of Nicola.
Well, again, the Dream Team has not settled down. I don't think they know who they want to go to offensively either. It seems like they're just moving the ball, looking for things to happen, but it's not happening for them. It seems like they're standing around to me, looking for somebody else to do it instead of setting picks, helping each other out.
7 turnovers also contributing to the problems in less than 7 minutes here at the start. Jorge Roca, important player for Argentina off the bench, has just come on for the first time. You're looking at Marcelo Nicola, a member of the national team since back in 84, a second-round draft pick of the Houston Rockets 3 years ago. Then his draft rights traded to Portland in the deal involving Clyde Drexler. Argentina leading 15-12. Robinson off the spin is blocked and fouled.
Well, there's that standing around you were talking about, Magic. The ball finally got into David Robinson. It took a long time to get there, and then because of some anxiety, Mitch Richmond made a cut before he should. Charles brought his defender in there and just clogged everything up for David Robinson, who could really have his way with any of the big men on Argentina.
So Robinson shooting a couple. Alberto called for the foul. And Argentina now leads by the score of 15-14. The high mark in Argentine basketball was back in 1950 in the World Championships in Buenos Aires. They defeated the United States by 14 points in the final, making their first Olympic appearance since '52 in Helsinki. Scottie Pippen with the change of direction. The United States wanted a goaltend.
Well, the whole crowd reacted to that because normally in American basketball, college and NBA, that would be goaltending. International play, once it hits the rim, it's fair game for anybody to take it off that rim.
That's another thing that our players, in terms of United States players, are not used to. And as you can see, that the Argentines use it to their liking.
Traveling violation gives the ball back to the United States. Another look at that shot by Scottie Pippen.
And goaltending can be called an international play when the ball is on its downward arc over the cylinder, but this was in a case where once the ball touches the rim, you can knock it off.
Like out. That's how things have gone for the United States here in the first half.
Maybe this is what they need to help them get going.
Argentina has shut the lights out. 12:35 remaining first half. It is Argentina by 1. We'll take a break.
Okay, welcome back to Studio One at the International Broadcast Center in Atlanta. I am happy to report that the lights are back on at the Georgia Dome, and while we were away, they began playing again, and the USA immediately went on a 15-5 run. They assume a 29-20 lead more than midway through the first half, so on this, the night the lights went out in Georgia, back to Marv Albert.
All right, Bob, a 9.5 delay all told due to the blackout. And then the two teams received a 3-minute warm-up period. The run by the United States turning things around, led by David Robinson, who's the high man with 9. Charles Barkley with 7 points. And Juan Estil leading Argentina with 8 points. But a slow start and a surprising score. Argentina able to hang around here in the first half. For more on the blackout here at the Georgia Dome, let's check in with our sideline reporter, Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Thanks a lot, Marv. Well, engineers are still myth on what caused the lights to go out. Currently, they're running on a backup generator that is sufficiently giving a lot of light. They said they're going to give me more details as the information comes in. Obviously, the one coach who is very upset about this recent delay has to be Coach Vecchio. He told his players to go out, continue to play their game, try to work the clock, and be selfish with the ball. Guys?
All right, Cheryl, and as these two teams broke for the timeout, Marcelo Milanesio was called for a technical foul. Apparently he had a bit too much to say.
Yes, he was complaining because the time before he went down and thought he had made contact on a 3-point shot, which the referee had called no foul on. And what has happened here when the lights went out, you knew it was going to affect one team or the other. And the United States used the lights going out to kick themselves into gear, and it seemed like it hurt the Argentinian team.
Why the slow start of the United States? You mentioned the anxiety, perhaps some nervousness, although it appears obvious that the U.S. is so superior to Argentina. But why the listless start?
Well, I think that Matt and I were talking about they were standing around a lot, and then they didn't create any offense from their defense. And now when Penny Hardaway came in and Mitch Richmond, it seemed like they picked up the defense and they started getting a lot of fast break points off of the defense.
And the U.S. going to the pressure defense right now. Foul on Karl Malone. I don't know, was it a coincidence when Arnold Schwarzenegger showed up, the lights kind of dimmed, the blackout took effect?
You go to
I thought it was your turn to pay the electric bill, Marv.
Well, I didn't want to
particular.
Did not want to get into that.
Well, he wanted to make a grand entrance. How's that? And the Terminator, he just cut off all the lights.
Ruben Wolkowski on the free throw line. Lenny Wilkins now has Shaquille O'Neal up front along with Karl Malone and Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Mitch Richmond in the backcourt.
I think it's clear that the identity of this particular USA team has been their defense. Ever since that first half against the select college kids, they realized that they had to do things with pressure defense, and they believe in that. Magic, what was the identity of your team in '92 in Barcelona?
Well, we felt the same way because Michael and Scotty and they were all over the guards and the people, and we denied, and then we just let our big men, if they got passes, just block the shots, and we got out on the break.
And here's the break by Argentina. And a nice setup for Espiel. Juan Espiel from downtown. He led the Argentine league in scoring this past season, averaging 32 a game. Signed to play in Spain next season. He's hit his second three-pointer. He has 11. And the United States now leads by 7.
Well, Magic, you mentioned how things turned around for the USA with Penny Hardaway playing defense, but it was when this man, Juan Espiel, left the game. Then the Argentine team really didn't know who to look for. They didn't know who to find for a shot, because it seems when he is on the floor, that's the man that they set all the screens for and set all the offense for, and when he sits, nothing happens.
Foul by Villar, putting Malone at the line. Karl Malone, 9-time NBA All-Star, able to hit on 1 of 2, 8-point lead for the U.S. Shaquille O'Neal able to keep it alive.
Well, Shaq's been used to those passes for the last 3 years. He's going to have to find somebody else who can make that type of pass.
Well,
what are you laughing at?
Well. And this call away from the ball. Mitch Richmond called for the holding foul.
Penny Hardaway just has such a sense, just tapping the ball to himself, knowing where the big fella is, and not even really having to grab that ball. Just, you know, there are some players in the history of the game who have had that knack. You know, Bob Cousy in the old days, obviously Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, who just have that little extra sense, a step ahead everybody else. Penny Hardaway has it as well.
Yeah, he made it off of a missed free throw, which was a good play, but this team has played well ever since Hardaway has come into the game. He's done it on controlling the offense as well as on defense as well.
And Juan Espiel with 13 points. United States 34 and Argentina 26. Espiel defending against Richmond. Malone to the fadeaway. Good play by Wolkowski to keep it away from O'Neal. Eliminaciones controlling the tempo at the point guard position. Oh, the script by Hill took it away from Nicola. Hill leading Malone. And the United States leads by 10.
That's what we were talking about. Their defense have to create their offense to get this crowd back into the game and get themselves going.
And there's somebody waiting to check in, Gary Payton, who can even get the defense going that much more.
Nicola not able to hit, and it's O'Neal ahead of the field. Shaquille able to bury it. And he looks to get the crowd going. Better than 36,000 here at the Georgia Dome. And And they now have seen the United States extend to a 12-point advantage. 5:20 remaining in the first half. The U.S. got off to the slow start. Houston and that fooled the U.S. Put down by Wolkowski.
Terrific back pick set on Shaquille O'Neal, who really got hung out to dry. And Grant Hill had his head down, never stepped out and bumped. And Shaq a little bit embarrassed on that play. He's usually more aware on that backside.
Hill's pass broken up. Wolkowski with the steal. Shaquille able to get it back. Wolkowski on the rebound, and he drew the foul.
Well, you want to know why they call them the Dream Team. This player just lets you know. Here's Grant Hill out, coming. Karl Malone trailing. Nice layup.
And a terrific back pick set by Juan Espiel as Grant Hill had his head down, and a perfect pass to, I think it was Wolkowski. A nice one from Milanesio, right on the mark.
Foul was called on Karl Malone with 4:52 remaining. In this first half, it's now the United States 38 and Argentina 28. Let's go to Bob Costas back at the broadcast center.
Okay, Marv, thanks a lot. And we'll be checking back on this game periodically throughout the night. And if it gets very close again, then we'll stick with it. But this is the approach we're going to take throughout the games. We can't kid anybody. You all know this. It is likely that the Dream Team will not be threatened in any of these games, that they will go right through to the gold. And we will give you a look at a good chunk of each game they play. But we won't show any game, with the possible exception of the gold medal game, in its entirety, because we want to show you as much of the tapestry of the Olympic Games as we can. So we hope you understand that decision. We'll use our best judgment. We'll check back from time to time. But after this break, gymnastics, the final men's session of the day and evening, including the Chinese team, a contender for the gold medal. We'll return to Atlanta in a minute.